Good evening. I'd like to call to order the meeting for Bedford Township for October 3rd, 2023. Please stand for the pledge. At this time, if Pastor Greg Withrow could come up and open us up in prayer.
Whenever I'm asked to do this, I try to think of a scripture that is both instructive and encouraging to the board and to everybody here. The Word of God is full of great wisdom. If we would pay heed, so I'm going to begin by reading from the book of Micah, where you find a contrast between the things we do for God in comparison to the way we are inside. It goes this way. Wherewith shall I come before the Lord and bow myself before the high God? Shall I come before him with burnt offerings, with calves of a year old? Will the Lord be pleased with thousands of rams, or with 10,000 of rivers of oil? Shall I give my firstborn for my transgression, the fruit of my body for the sin of my soul? And then the question is answered. He hath shown you, O man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of thee, but to do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with thy God. Heavenly Father, Lord God, we are rich in this country, having been founded at least in minimum, Lord God, on the principles and commandments of your word. The entirety of the world for 2,000 years has benefited from the coming of your Son, the giving of his life and his resurrection, to take our sin on the cross and to give us his own righteousness in return. We're grateful to be able to gather here. I'm grateful to be in a community where the Word of God is still prized and prayer is being offered at the opening of these meetings. We submit ourselves to you, Lord God, and pray for great wisdom to be able to run this township in the way that it should be run and in a way that honors and glorifies you. May that wisdom be on all of us here and upon this board as they make the decisions that need to be made. And we commit this to you in the name of the Lord Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Appreciate you being here. Okay. Item number 2 is approval of the agenda.
I'll make the motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Support. Okay, motion in support of Mr. Bruning. Any discussion? Could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Bushberger votes aye. Mr. Peroni?
Aye. The motion passed 7-0. Item 3 is the consent agenda. The agenda committee recommends to approve and place on file the minutes from the September 19th, 2023 regular meeting of the Bedford Township Board.
I'll make the motion to approve the consent agenda.
Support. Okay, motion in support of Mr. Bruning. Any discussion? Okay, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Bushberger votes aye. Mr. Peroni?
Aye. The motion passed 7-0. Item 4 is Monroe County Conservation District, Emma Campbell and Connie Veliquette. Connie, it's always nice to see you.
Oh, it's always nice to be here.
I don't know if many people realize how much Connie's involvement and what she's done for this community over the past, how many years you've been involved? Long time, so appreciate
That's
it.
nice to be here. And thank you for letting us speak with you tonight. My name is Connie Veliquette. I live at 6684 Greenbrier Lane, Temperance, Michigan. And first, before we go any further, sorry I missed the other township meeting when you okayed your
You got to come closer to the
contribution.
mic.
Can you hear that?
Yeah, just as close as you can so they can hear you. You're good. Go ahead.
Okay. Anyways, I just would like to introduce Emma Campbell. She is our meat technician from the Conservation District, and she's going to go over some of our services and that we supply to our Monroe County residents. So that's one of the first questions most of the townships ask. What do you do for us? And we have a lot of services, and Bedford's always been good to support us. So this is Emma.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to fix my slides here real quick.
I don't think it's on.
Is that good? Yeah, go ahead.
Testing.
Too high?
Good to go? Well, thank you for having me here tonight. I really appreciate your time, and thank you, Connie, for introducing me. It's good to be here. So I put together a little slideshow tonight, just hopefully I won't ramble too much here, so I'm going to try to keep it short, about some of the programs that we do here in the county and how we can serve the residents of Bedford. So to start off, we do educational programming. So I've touched on a few things that have taken place this year. So every single year we have Earth Day events where we work with all of these different organizations that come together on Earth Day and do educational programming there. The Lake Erie Water Festival we also took part in this year. There's a photo of me along the bottom there teaching some kids about invasive species and how they move throughout our waterways. So I don't know if you can see it, but they have little fish hats on, and that was part of our activity there. And then we also have been going around to libraries throughout the county. So with that, I have taught some classes on butterfly milkweed, actually, and the importance of pollinators to kids. So it's an image of a milkweed plant that we were handing out. So we handed out dozens and dozens of milkweed plants to kids for them to plant in their yards. And then we also serve a variety of folks too. So the ag community, we do educational programming too as well. So we had our field day here recently. We partner with Michigan State University Extension pretty often. And we worked with them to put together a field day that was at Horkey Brothers Farm in Dundee. So that was there recently. And then we also have done this year pesticide training classes. So a lot of that looks like talking to registered applicators about best management practices that they can put in place and protect our natural resources here. And then I also taught a little bit of a model on groundwater and the importance of, again, those best management practices and protecting our groundwater. Another thing that we are very known for is our tree and native plant sales. So I'm sure that most of you are aware that we have our catalog release in January, and we sell a variety of different species. So we've got evergreens, and we've got deciduous trees and shrubs. And then we, actually this year too, we had a fall tree sale, and we did notes that many folks from Bedford Township did purchase in our fall tree sale, so thank you. We're very excited to have more trees in the ground. And then we also do a native plant sale every summer as well. So we have packages and flats and plugs, and they are to varied suitability. So whether you've got wetter ground or dry ground, or maybe you've got a spot in your yard that ponds, we have plants there for you, and we can help you out with promoting native species that are found here naturally in Bedford Township. We do also have conservation grants too. So I really like to recommend these to folks because I think sometimes that there's a little bit of fear around, oh, maybe I won't get it, or it's going to be this difficult thing and a long process. But when it comes to, implementing grants at the local level, it's me and the manager at the district. So it's us, and we're here to work with you. And we want to see conservation here on the ground. So we have community and private landowner mini grants, which are up to $600. And then we also have agriculture conservation mini grants up to $1,200. So this can fund projects all throughout the township. And we highly encourage folks to get an idea in their head, maybe chat with us about it, and put in applications for those. And then also the program that I work in primarily, so I'm a MEEP technician. MEEP stands for Michigan Agriculture Environmental Assurance Program. So this is a statewide program. It is a free totally voluntary and completely confidential program for both landowners and farmers to really gain the recognition that they deserve for their stewardship efforts. So we provide cost share opportunities and technical assistance for helping folks reduce their environmental risk. And in this process, they also get to have that verification and have their signs. So if you've seen white signs around, that's what that is. We have several farmers within the area that are MEEP verified, and also those with land too that have had their wildlife habitat verified as well. And then I wanted to touch on some of the more unseen partnerships or research too. So we partner with MSU Extension a lot. They have an Institute of Water Research that we are working with right now. So this is with farmers all throughout the county. That includes, Bedford Township producers. If, they would be interested in this program, we help them with some tile drain monitoring. So it's taking water samples and analyzing it and, helping the farmers, make more informed decisions when it comes to their practices. And that is an entirely confidential program as well. We also will be having a cover crop funding initiative through the Farmers for Soil Health. And then we also, again, this is ag as well, but we work with the Farmer-Led Conservation Group, which is a group that is, farmer-led. So it's all the individuals throughout the watershed that are interested in improving water quality through their management practices. If you are a boater or a fisherman, you may be familiar with the Clean Boats, Clean Waters program. So this is a partnership with Michigan State University Extension and Eagle. And it's an invasive species removal and boater outreach program. So it's primarily with aquatic invasive species. So this summer, we were out at the different recreation areas, and there were a mobile boat wash with MSU students that came out, and we got to spread the word about invasive species and help them clean their boats, which was a lot of fun. And to wrap things up, this is a little screen grab of our website. So we've got all of our programs, the work that we do, services for folks. All of our grant applications are online as well. And I have both my email address and then also the email address for the Conservation District and our phone number. So that is my little spiel about our current programming and how we serve the residents here in Bedford.
Hey, anybody have any questions? Thank you very much for being here. We appreciate it. Okay, on to public comment. Comments limited to 5 minutes for board agenda items only. Just state the agenda item you'll be speaking on. Take your time, you're fine.
Thank you.
Gail Kane, 1056 West Temperance. I want to address in particular 8C. Oh, and thank you, Emma. Having worked the tree sale since 2004, I can appreciate your efforts. The reason I'm questioning this, and it's not that I'm questioning it, because we can't have our farmlands filled with solar farms, but then we don't want our farmlands full of houses either. At least the solar farms are temporary and they don't make a negative impact such as people do within a community. The same thing with your little buzzers that buzz around in the air for wind towers. We have one, somebody got an award for it. Doesn't work. It's over at Pearl Albert Park, a little wind turbine. We put one up. Doesn't work. Somebody got an award for that. So I'm questioning this whole thing, and there's nothing in here that says what the road commission feels, what the drain commission feels, what the county commissioners, if there's going to be public hearings regarding this before we maintain local control over local land uses. I mean, I don't know who wrote this resolution. And like I said, I'm not anti that whole effort because there's good sides and bad sides. And sometimes in an effort to rush to stop the bleeding, we fail to look at all options, which is a frequent thing that happens in Bedford Township when we do things.
Stick to your agenda. I didn't miss
You know, the comments of the good stewards of public resources and balance the needs of the community and maintain infrastructure were some of the primary words that were used in that resolution. So all I'm asking is that we get full disclosure on who wrote this. Was it, you know, the SEMCOG? I saw an addition in there from SEMCOG. I saw another one from the Michigan group. So I'm just wondering who actually wrote it and how all this is going to impact and what the impact's going to be. You know, we've lost our Farm Preservation Act. We've lost property to that. So I really have a concern with this maintain local control over local land uses, and we can't even support our parks. That's it.
Thank you for your comments. Any more comments from the public? Okay, moving on to 8A, vouchers for payment.
I'd like to make a motion that the following vouchers be approved for payment. General Fund, $86,240.32. Fire District Fund, $14,043.90. Downtown Development, $3,392.44. Library Operating Fund, $7,207. American Rescue Plan, $1,385.70. Stonebrook, Brookwood SAD, $674.75. Whitman Drive SAD, $1,053.13. Road Capital Improvement Fund, $367,485.11. DDA Construction, $7,310. Building Department, $1,639.07. Sewer O&M Fund, $1,845.23. Trust and Agency Fund, $1,672.25, for a grand total of $493,941.97.
Support.
Okay, motion and support of Ms. Januzak. Any discussion? Okay, could you call the roll, please?
Hirschberger votes aye. Ms. Januzak?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Peroni?
Aye, the motion passed 7-0. Item 8B, approval to replace the drinking fountains at 4 Bedford Parks. Ms. Laurie, come on up.
Carol Laurie, and I am the chair of the Bedford Township Park Commission. And you have before you the three types of fountains that we looked at. Basically, the fountains we have are 20 years old. Two of them have drainage problems that even though they may be working, they overflow, they don't drain, they just go down to that pet area and then it just keeps flowing. We need to replace them. We, as a park board, picked the Murdoch one. That seemed to be the most contained, the one that was probably less chance of being vandalized. The other ones have a lot of areas that are sticking out that looks like somebody could knock them off. They're not very sturdy. So we went with this particular bottle filler. That was important to us to have one that had a bottle filler because a lot of people bring their own mugs and they want to fill it instead of using the fountain, which is more hygienic, I guess you could say. So this particular model, the Murdoch model, is the one we decided on. Any questions about that?
Yes, so the ARPA committee, you approved concrete drinking fountains?
There were no concrete drinking fountains that had bottle fillers. That's the issue with that. I've looked, and there was none that were available with a bottle filler. I don't know if it's because of the height. That was the reasoning behind that.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to the board if they want to deviate from the original approval, because that's what was approved from the ARPA committee to this board, and they approved the ARPA. So if they want to do something different, it's totally up to the board. I'm just asking how we deviated from that. Yeah, I will agree with you. They are bad. Is there any reason why we didn't try to get 3 quotes on one individual type of, like the Murdoch?
Oh, from different companies, you mean, doing that one? I just went ahead and was trying to find the ones that work the best for us, and that,
No, I totally get that, but
yeah.
trying to get a few quotes on one individual type or see if
No, I just went with the first one I found that had what we needed on it. Now, I understand that Trudy did some extra research on that, and she found some others. I was going with the local company, the one out of Northwood, I think it was. But she found some others that the same exact model that we want is a little cheaper in price, even if it's shipped. So if you want to go with that, that's totally fine with me, as long as we get this particular type. I think the park board will be fine with it.
Anybody else have anything like that?
What'd you find, Trudy?
I found 2. One, I added the shipping to, and it came up to 33,000. Another one doesn't have shipping included in it yet, but it was 26,400.
Then we have installation on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
This one, the Murdoch, was that for the 38.5? Was that including installation?
No, installation is anywhere from 7,000 to 10,000 more.
It's something our guys could possibly do. We just got to get them out there and take a look at it.
Okay.
To see if we can first. I don't know,
I spoke with Pat about it today, and he said he didn't think that was something they could handle.
I might not think that he can, but when we get it and we get
Okay.
it out there and we take a look at it, and it's a simple twist-on deal with 2 pipe wrenches,
Maybe.
it's something we can handle. We'll look at it, but if we can't, then we'll hire. But there's 60,000 allocated from ARPA towards drinking fountains, so there's plenty of money.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure if we added to install all 4 drinking fountains on top of the purchase, 8,000, just to give us some wiggle room, I'm sure there'd be plenty of room for installation on all of them.
So we're still under budget.
Oh, yeah. Okay. But this isn't what we budgeted, just to be clear with you. So, Mr. Steiner?
I didn't see any, is there any kind of warranties listed on these, or did I just miss it here?
No, I did not see any kind of warranties on any of these when I was doing research.
That's part of the reason we wanted concrete, because they would last.
Right.
Well, that's just it, lasting longer, and, I mean, you would think you got to have some kind of warranty on a brand-new item, regardless of what it's made of. And they probably have something, it probably just say manufacturer warranty, but we don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's not listed, excuse me, not listed on the paperwork that I was sent or on the estimates that I was sent.
And would your intention be spring installation?
We wanted to do it this fall, but
Okay.
it depends if we've got to do a lot of research and,
And, they're going to be winterized here in the next
right,
20 days.
You got to winterize them
Won't
anyways.
be able to be used. So I would recommend putting
Spring.
it in the spring anyways, get 1 more winter.
If we're waiting until spring, do we want to still get more time to look for concrete ones, or is there just no concrete ones out there?
I was not able to find any concrete ones with a bottle filler. If you were able to see one, let me know. But yeah, we looked all over and couldn't find any.
What's the pleasure of the board?
Concrete ones that I saw were just drinking fountains. There were no bottle fillers.
Okay. Well, had they known,
Which it will be nice to have bottle fillers, I think, at like White Park, maybe even, Parmalee, because you got people that are there, playing disc golf and, will utilize, I don't know if they'll get utilized as much at like some area or Carr, but they could. You got ball players there and, tennis people that'll fill their stuff. I'm sure they'll get used, but I think it's a good idea. But like I said, the 20 years we're going to have to replace them again probably. So
I'm fine with moving forward. Do we want to move forward with the ones Trudy's looking at, or just move forward with the Murdoch ones and go with it?
I think it's the same one. Trudy just found it cheaper.
A cheaper, same one.
Exact same one.
So just move forward with Trudy's quote.
Maybe we just say that we're going to go ahead and order the 4 plus the installation and it not to exceed an amount.
What was your number again, Trudy? 25, was it? 26?
I have one at 26, around to 26.5, but I don't know what the shipping is on this one. I didn't get the shipping. The other one was 33. Let me get back to it again. 33,042, and that did include the shipping already.
Well, where's the other one coming out of? First, the cheaper one.
One's coming out of Texas, the other one's coming out of California.
So you're
But if you look at plumbers and parts and who can repair these, there are locals all over the place.
yeah.
Livonia, Norton. So it's not like wherever we buy them from, we're going to need them to fix them or repair them. We would use somewhere local anyway.
Well, why don't we just approve for a max amount of ordering at $35,000, and then you guys could find out how much shipping is from the other company, and then order from the company that's cheaper, and then we'll add $8,000 on top of the 35 of a max for installation.
Trudy, which price was which? I'd prefer not to purchase anything from California.
Higher one was California.
Okay.
With the shipping was the 33.
They're the exact same models?
Exact same.
Exact same, okay.
Yeah, I took their model number and just searched to see who else carried it.
Okay. That's the only thing I wanted to make sure if it was, like, if it's the exact same thing.
Yes. Yes, it'll look exactly like theirs. Because theirs is actually, you have to piece it no matter where you buy it from. It's just the bottle filler and the one drinking fountain. Then you have to add the bowl for the dog and then the antifreeze, because if you have this bowl, you need the antifreeze. So that's 2 different additions onto it.
Okay.
Paul, you were saying just
I was
approve
saying
the cheaper one with added.
we'll give them a max
the
dollar of $35,000, and then they do their homework and see who's cheaper for delivery, and then add $8,000 on there for a maximum of installation.
I'm fine with that.
Somebody wants to make that motion?
So not to exceed what you're looking at, 43,000.
I'd say 43,000 max, and we won't spend it all.
All right, I'll make a motion that we approve the replacement of the drinking fountains at the Bedford Parks with a total not to exceed, what do you guys want to keep it at, 45?
43.
43?
45 would be 25 per.
What number do you guys want me to put on it?
Just do 45.
45,000. So once you guys find out how much shipping's going to be from the two, just between the 2 cheaper ones that Trudy has, and find out what the shipping costs, and we'll go from there.
I'll second, but with friendly amendment that we go with the model GYM 74 GY series from the company out of Texas, and as per the ARPA committee, it'll come out of the ARPA funds.
I'll accept
Do you
that.
want the 7.4 or the 7.5?
Thought we
It's
had
a 7.5.
7.5.
Want the 7.5? Okay.
The one that you're looking at
It is-
is really
it's just
not
the
the
color,
7.4, it's a
Stainless steel or
7.5.
green.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll do the GMY 7.5.
Yeah, if you look down here under options, you're getting the 75 FRU3.
So if I read your motion right, you're asking them not to compare prices. We're looking at just going for the one at Texas.
Because that's a cheaper one.
But what if their shipping's 10,000?
Okay. I'll come back with us with the shipping then, I suppose.
That's why we said if, say Texas is $3,000 shipping or 10 grand shipping, and it's more, then they got a dilemma. That was my point of go with the cheaper one, but I can't imagine it being that much for shipping. But I'm fine with it. That is. Okay, could you call the roll, please?
Okay, so friendly amendment is sticking?
Yep.
Okay. Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Ms. Janusik? Aye. Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Peroni?
Aye, and the motion passed 7-0.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you. Just communicate with me and we'll get it figured out. Okay, item 8C, approve a resolution expressing support to maintain local control over local land uses. Mr. Goldsmith? Do you want to speak to this?
Sure. So really, this is this resolution is, I believe, was drafted by the Michigan Townships Association in its effort to represent all of its constituent member townships. The state legislation, as it relates to short-term rentals, industrial solar installations, industrial wind turbine installations, sand and gravel mining, it's driven by pretty powerful lobbies that represent these types of companies, represent this type of industry. And of course, it would be to their benefit if they could sidestep local control, and if the state would adopt legislation that would, what we call in the legal business, preempt all local legislation and occupy the field. And what I mean by that is it takes all local control away from the townships, the cities, the villages, and vests it with the state, and then whatever state agency the state legislation would direct it to. So if any of these pass, and there's a lot of this has been pending and talked about for many years, then we would lose the local control. Land uses right now are regulated by local control through the Zoning Enabling Act, so that we as a township have a say when we look at our master land use plan, for example, and we say we want these land uses to go in these particular areas if they're going to go at all. And we want these standards to apply to special land use approval for these particular areas. In other words, it's not a principal permitted use in a particular zoning district. It's a special land use in a particular zoning district, and we control it by standards. If you meet the standards that are in our zoning ordinance, the Zoning Enabling Act says we must approve the special land use application. So we have control. It puts a lot of pressure on you as a board because a lot of these issues are very contentious and they can be divisive within the community when it comes to solar farms, when it comes to wind turbines, when it comes to sand and gravel mining. So it puts a lot of pressure on you, but that's what you get elected for. And you know your local area certainly better than the state does. So this resolution, drafted by the Michigan Townships Association, it's advisory. It's meant to, if you adopt it, it's meant to send a message to our state legislatures that we as a township believe that we're much better equipped to fairly control, subject to Michigan law, subject to the Zoning Enabling Act. We're much better equipped to monitor and control that in our township than you are at the state level. And we want to maintain that control, and we want to send that message to the state legislature so when our representatives are considering it, they know how we feel. It's advisory. It carries no legal weight other than our legislators are going to know how we feel about these various issues, and hopefully they will consider that when they're voting on the floor on these various bills. So it's advisory, and if you as a board feel that we should maintain local control for our local land uses because we know better than the folks up in Lansing on how our township should grow and where our land uses should be in our respective zoning districts, then I think the resolution is fine. You adopt it and you send it, and hopefully our legislators will take heed. So,
anybody else have any comments or questions? Mr. Steiner?
Yeah, I have to concur with Mr. Goldsmith. I wouldn't want somebody at Lansing telling us how to run our community. With our property down here, they're not going to know the ins and outs like Bedford Township and our representation here. And again, it's not like this is setting a law in place. This is our recommendation of what we believe to the state. And I'm all for us, maintaining our own control within Bedford.
You should make a motion then.
If nobody's got comments, I will. So with that said, I will make the motion to approve the resolution expressing support to maintain local control over local land uses, including but not limited to short-term rentals, industrial solar installations, industrial wind turbine installations, and sand and gravel mining as presented.
Support.
Motion supported, Mr. Bruning. Any more discussion? Okay, just call the roll, please.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Peroni?
Aye, the motion passed 7-0. Item 8D, direction regarding the old boardroom podium. Ms. Hirschberger?
So I was approached by the deputy clerk of Norville Township in Jackson, Michigan, asking what we were doing with the old podium. Did we throw it away? Are we storing it? Are we using it? I said that it was just put in another room for right now, and that if we were willing to get rid of it, sell it, whatever we want to do, I would ask the board. So what's your pleasure?
It's just taking up space.
It's just sitting in conference room C. It's been there ever since we got this one.
This is on the agenda. Trudy and I spoke about it, and I said, we need to put it before the board. The podium was bought by taxpayer money. We can't just give it away, but we can sell it for $1, and to a township who is less fortunate than us. I've been to Norvell Township representing the Wamplers Lake Lot Owners Association. They occupy a historic building. They don't have a lot of money, and they don't have a podium. And it's broken, and our finance manager has put a 0 value on it. So just to keep within the bounds of the law, we can sell it for $1, do a bill of sale if we want to. I told Trudy I'd put it in the back of my truck and deliver it because it's close to where I go every day.
I wouldn't feel right not saying this. There are times it could be used in room C with a larger group. If somebody was going to have a bigger meeting and speak from a podium, it could be used for there. But I have no problem getting rid of it. It's not necessary. I mean, the meetings that are held in there aren't needed. A podium isn't needed. So, but I did want to mention that. There are times where
for $1, just be done with it.
Okay. Is that a motion?
Yeah. I make a motion that we dispose of our old boardroom podium to, what township is it?
Norville.
Norville.
Norville Township for a sale of $1.
Support.
Okay, motion is supported. Mr. Gore, any more discussion? Okay, just call the roll, please.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Peroni?
Aye, the motion passed 7-0. Item 9 is comments from the public. Comments limited to 2 minutes. On anything you want to talk about.
First off, hello, Garnet. Glad you're watching. Secondly, my comment is that I was on a tour, and we have learned that the spotted lanternfly has been spotted over in the Haroon Road area by Sylvania. This particular infestation that's heading our way will devastate the state as well as this township. And we are a gate to the state. And we also happen to have a park that has got a whole herd of the host tree, which is the tree of heaven. So I'm going to implore that this township, I've already reached out to some people looking to see if we can't get some sort of collaborative to take down the tree of heaven that's on the Wheeler Preserve. That property is infested with all kinds of things. The Bradford pear. We also have issues with the Rosa Sharon in this area because they're not maintained properly. We have yuccas and all kinds of things, and this was with the Nature's Conservancy that was there. So if we're going to have monies left over because we choose to not have fancy cement watering holes, then maybe some of that money could go into Wheeler Park. I found it kind of frustrating to listen to the back and forth up here between the members. The poor park board worked their fannies off to come up with a price list, and then you grabbed them by the horns and rattled their cages. That made no sense whatsoever. If you're not going to respect these people, the least you can do then is make the decision on your own and not put it in their back door, because that's what you just did. And I found it disrespected. Carol, I apologize.
Could you please direct your comments to the board, please, and thank you.
Will do.
Okay. Any more comments from the public?
Josh Nearcore, 7948 Wiseman or Lambertville. I just want to say thank you for approving that resolution to protect local land use. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
State Representative William Bruck, Erie, Michigan. Thank you, Supervisor Peroni and board, for letting me speak tonight. Just want to do a quick report on what's been going on up in Lansing and around the state. It's been busy.
Just so you know, you're not limited to the 2 minutes.
Say again?
Take your time. You're not limited to the 2 minutes.
Okay, all righty. I appreciate that. Thank you. A number of bills going through. It has been very busy. I will say that my first bill, which is a road renaming bill for Dixie Highway, renaming after Joseph Lidl, passed hearing today, I should say. And so that's moving forward and will be in the House hopefully next week. There's a highway bill that I have presented regarding trucks in the left lanes on 3 or more freeways to try to limit that, and we have the DOT, MDOT supporting us on that. And a couple other bills. One I just introduced today it's the governor's executive order number 4 that she presented this year. We're codifying that and putting that in. That's streamlining business permitting processes to try to get rid of red tape. So it was a good executive order. We're trying to put that into law to be permanent. And then this week, we have had a lot of stuff with solar. So I've gotten a number of letters already from different township boards that have been supporting what the Association on Townships have put forth. And I did do a recent editorial in the Monroe News regarding my disport of solar. So if you read that or didn't read that, that was in the Monroe News just a week or 2 ago regarding the solar bills. I'm happy to report that has not made it out of committee. So it hasn't necessarily died. It may come back in a different form, but there's a number of people on both sides that are not for this particular bill. That takes away the community control, especially when it comes to the solar and then all the other bills. There's a whole package of bills that they were trying to get through. End of session, I get the questions a lot of times, when is session ending? Your guess is as good as anyone's, but they're looking at the end of October or the first week of November ending session. There's a number of bills, and I know Trudy is not going to like this, but there's a number of bills regarding the election processes that they didn't have immediate effect, so it takes 90 days. So they're going to end session sooner than they normally would, so those can go into effect for next year. That's moving up our primary and a number of other bills that Trudy is definitely aware of and tracking, probably sadly. This last week, we presented a set of 9 bills regarding national security. So I'm going to speak a little bit about national security and bring it back to the state. But sub-national companies that are coming into our nation, I can think of a couple up in Martian and Goshen, the battery plants. These are foreign-owned entities that are coming into America. There's a lot of issues. Even on the national scene, Secretary of State Blinken has identified that there is no difference between private companies and the Chinese state. And they've identified this as a national concern. And here in our state, it's getting national press as well, those battery plants. And you'll see that Ford just halted their construction of that plant, I think because of all the pushback that they're getting. But this last week, we introduced 9 bills for national security on the state level. I was a sponsor of one of those bills and a number of other sponsors, but they have to deal with higher education, K through 12 education. They have to do with buying of farmland in certain areas, that are located near universities. They have to do with different monies that are coming into the state where there's ties to a national security risk. And with that, I'm heading up a new group. It's called the Michigan State Legislator Working Group on National Security. And this is to help us identify, track, evaluate, and then we're going to give ratings to different entities or items in our state that pose a subnational threat to us. We've come up with a number of things. One of these things are drones, Chinese-made drones that at the federal level are illegal, or not, I was going to say illegal, but prohibited to use with the DOD and federal services. But on the state level, we have sheriff departments in our state and the MSP that are using these Chinese-made drones that have already been proven to have backdoors. And what are these terrorists, or not terrorist states, but hostile nation states to us doing with that information that they're garnering? So those are items that we're going to be looking at. I have a couple people that are helping us on this working group, including Ambassador Joe Cello, and then Ambassador Hoekstra, who used to be one of our congressional reps at the national level. He was the head of the I can't remember the committee, the National Security Committee that he was on. So those are a number of things we're doing. Again, I just want to be available. That's why I'm here. I'm going to be around afterwards, but I hope at least the board has my cell phone. If you don't, I will make sure you have that at the end of the meeting. But I want to be available to our townships, our supervisors, and the people. So if you reach out to our office, again, we have Mike Gotchka and Andrew Sebra. If you want to set up a meeting, please, contact them, and we can set up a meeting. If there's an issue that's, coming to your township that you want me to help with in any way, manner, please reach out to me, and I want to be available.
Okay, appreciate you being here. Anybody have any questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. You had a change of heart.
Lamar Frederick, 3254 Deer Creek Drive. I like the roads being fixed, but they're not being listed in the news when all of a sudden, hello, Smith Road's closed. Hello, they closed White Street. Why they did that, I don't know. They're closing. I called the road commission, and I know this isn't true. They said, well, that's what the township wanted to do. And I said, well, I don't think so. I mean, at least they would have said something somewhere, sometime. But that's a kind of a portend of what might happen with the roundabout when they shut down Smith Road. There were cars all over hell, running on Stearns Road, or running on a Lexus, which is okay. Let them run on a Lexus. But if you could call the road commission and say, look, get this stuff in the paper so we know we're doing the zone patching. It's really good. They're doing a great job. Smith Road looks pretty good. Now it's going to become a speedway, but that's okay. But that's it. And I don't know how many of you watched this mess down in Washington today, but it's absolute chaos in Washington, D.C. It's not our doing. We didn't have anything to do with it. All we can do is sit there and watch it. It's going to be a mess for a long time. I sure hope they fix it up. Because if not, I don't know where they're going. Thank you.
Hey, any more comments from the public? Only a couple left. Are you sure? Okay. All right, moving on to board member comments. Mr. Gore?
No, thanks for coming. Lamar, it was a surprise to me coming home last night and seeing my road closed. I had no idea. So it was a surprise. But anyway, everything's open back up, and you're right. White Street, Brent Ridge, when there's an accident at Smith and Secor, and when they do that construction, when they move it to 4 lanes, it's going to be a mess for a while. So we're just going to have to live with it if we want it. So other than that, everybody have a safe weekend.
Hey, Mr. Bruning?
Everyone have a good night, good week. This week is Bedford's homecoming. Good luck, mules. You got Huron, and be safe and stay sober this weekend, guys. We don't need any dead kids. Just have fun, but don't be stupid about it. Thanks.
Okay. All right, Mr. Steiner.
Mr. Perona, if you would just talk a little bit, we got the memo regarding the park, the skate closure. If you just want to add anything to that, I've had a couple calls on that, and I just told them basically what you and Mr. Pryor had provided to us. So if you just elaborate. Connie, it's been a while since I've seen you. You're looking great. Thanks for coming. Nice to see you brought somebody in that's young blood that's going to start taking over the reins one day from all of us once we start to move out the door. So again, thank you for what you do. Mr. Brook brought up something that's very interesting about our highways and the 3 lanes and the trucks and everything. So I drive 75 to Detroit a lot of times, and obviously, we all know we've been on the expressway, and people don't have any courtesy whatsoever in many cases. Well, I was pleasantly surprised. I was gone for 2 weeks and probably drove about 850 miles through Europe. Majority of that was in Germany. And I sort of enjoyed Germany once I hit the country border, because all of a sudden, most of the highways, there was no speed limit. I wasn't even on the listed Autobahn. And the speed limit was 130 kilometers per hour, so about 85 on average. But what was most amazing is the courtesy. The trucks pretty much stayed in the right lane where they belonged. The roads were in tremendous condition. I don't know how they do it, because, I mean, they get similar climate as we do. So I'm not sure how they do it, but they sure do it. If you were in the left lane, even if you were doing 85 or 100 miles an hour, you saw people in the back coming. It's either one of two things. Either they flashed their lights at you, or they turned the left turn signal on saying, "Get out of my way." But people did it. Very, very few did I see have to be pushed out of the way. But it was just amazing. So I think if we had more here in this country that had a little more courtesy on those highways, just get over and get out of the way. Last thing I want to finish up with is I just wanted to let the board know that, and the public, that I've been very lucky and supported to be a sponsor on an upcoming honor flight, November 7th. I was talking to someone that works for the company out in Toledo that does the charters, and I was able to get on that flight. So looking forward to it. Mr. Brook, you've served. Lamar, you've served. Kenny, did you serve? I thought you did. So, as well. So all you guys. Did you serve? Okay. I know Todd and Joe. So thanks to you guys too. But I'm really looking forward to it. I don't know who my veteran's going to be yet. I find out like 2 days prior. I have to go for a screening and training. It's going to be a wonderful opportunity. I can't wait. I've been there to D.C. to see the memorial, but I cannot wait to be able to serve a veteran for what they've done for us. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Montroy?
Nothing from me.
Okay, Ms. Janizar?
Just everybody have a nice rest of your week and a good weekend.
Okay, Ms. Hirschberger?
I've been getting many calls and emails about the new drop box in Lambertville. Yes, it is real. Yes, it is legit. And yes, our new law required me to put it there. So the law states that if a township has more than 15,000 registered voters, that I need a drop box for every 15 or more. So we have almost 30. So I needed 2 drop boxes. If we get any bigger, I might need 3. There are location requirements. I was supposed to put it in a different location based on population density and distribution, transportation, parking, accessibility, and I had to find some place that I could have electric for the camera that's required on it. So our fire chief was gracious enough to let me hang a camera on Station 2. So it will be monitored. That is a legit box. People can put their ballots in. It will be emptied by me personally. So just wanted the township residents to know it is legit. Also, the township hall will be closed this Monday for the federal holiday, and that is October 9th. Last thing, if you did not receive your ballot and you dropped off an application, please call our office or stop by. It could be that your signature didn't match and you didn't receive my letter or my email that I sent out, or maybe you weren't on that permanent list and we didn't receive the application. So just stop by my office and we can look into it. That's all.
Okay, a few things. I'll start out with the skate park. Our insurance was out there and inspected it. I've been out there, looked at it. It's needed work for some time now. We've been telling the park board for probably years that it needs to be addressed. And I mean, we have spots out there that are dead spots and sagging spots because it's rotted, and they're just not moving on it. So we had a meeting. I had a meeting with Carol in my office and got a hold of a contractor to get out there and inspect it. I think tomorrow, Thursday, Pat and Kevin Vogel are going to go out there and take a look at it with Kevin, see what can be done about it. But it has to be closed. I mean, they weren't closing it and they weren't fixing it, so I took action on it. It's my job for the health, safety, and welfare of our community. So yeah, that's why it's closed. It's got to be fixed, or it remains closed. You know, so the roundabout appraisal should be coming in the end of this week, and at that point, it'll go to the next appraiser for the final review. The Bedford Boo Bash is October 28th in the Kroger parking lot, along with the Pearl Evergreen Park. Keep an eye out for that. Myself, Trudy, and Krista, and Al have been working diligently with a company to possibly bring fiber cable into Bedford, another company, so we're excited for that, the possibility for that. So we're going to keep working that, and hopefully we can get some other service in here to have some competition for Buckeye and Frontier. So we are working on that. You know, in the past, a lot of them have said, well, we don't want to come there because you don't have enough, you know, users. We would only collect maybe, you know, 3,000-4,000 users. It's not enough. So there's companies, you know, with a different attitude than that. So we're excited for that. October 14th at 9:30, Fire Prevention Day is at the Township Hall. It's a good opportunity for youngsters and anybody that wants to get to know our fire department and learn some fire prevention things. You'd be surprised what you can learn and some of the actions that you can take, you know, with a fire. Yeah, so I'm not sure I understand your comment, Ms. Keene, about strong arming the park board. We do our best to work with them. But when they're not getting 3 quotes on a certain product and we take 5 seconds and look online and find quotes where we could save the taxpayers money, why would we not do it? So I would encourage the park board to start doing what Trudy's doing. Obviously, it can be done. It's Google and it takes minutes. But I appreciate that, Trudy. We're saving money. You know, that's why we have the largest fund balance in the history of this community. We've worked hard on being frugal and saved where we can, and that's why we're in the position we're in. So other than that, things are going very well, and I'll keep you updated on anything that comes about. So motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Adjourned.